It's award season. It's going. It's happening. Marty Supreme, Timothy Chalamet, one battle after another. Sinners, Hamnet. All of it is going down right now. The Golden Globes was last night. We're going to talk a little bit about the Globes. We're going to talk about my thoughts going forward on award season. We're going to even talk about Sinners, my favorite movie of last year, Sinners. What does this mean for Sinners? All this has a lot of implications. We're going to discuss that today on The Real Table. Let's go.
Welcome to The Table. You are now listening to The Real Table podcast with Michael Carter.
Welcome back to another episode of The Real Table podcast with your host, Michael Carter. We talk film on here. We talk television, but mostly film here on The Real Table podcast. The Golden Globes award season, all of it is happening right now, and it's getting interesting. The Golden Globes right now feels like it's a temperature check usually, right? Usually at this time of year, we get a better indication of maybe what some people are thinking and maybe what some people are not thinking for some of these awards. Now, let me be honest. Like some years, there are always surprises, right? You always find some things that'll surprise you in the long run. And sometimes there are years where like it's just straightforward. Like this person or this film is the leading candidate, and they're gonna come through and they're gonna probably win it in March when it's all said and done, when the Oscars air. So let's get into some Golden Globe stuff. I didn't watch all of the telecasts, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. It was just that kind of night where I just couldn't watch the telecast. Nikki Glaser hosted. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Nikki Glaser. She did a solid job last year, and so her coming back was, I think was a good move. And I've heard solid things about her jokes, solid things about, just her presentation, the stuff that she was doing, just her being a host. I did see some clips here on Twitter. I saw the AMC trailer spoof thing that she did. But overall, I heard the hosting was pretty good. The telecast was pretty solid. I did hear there was a lack of clips, which is very frustrating. What do I mean by lack of clips? Usually in award shows, all award shows mostly, they usually show like a music video for the artist for a certain song, or like for movies, they'll show different scenes and clips and stuff so you can put to image, so you can visualize what movie this is, who's in it, all that stuff. They very rarely did that. It was here and there. It was very inconsistent, which is kind of annoying. And it feels kind of like especially Best Supporting Actress, to look at that and go, feels kind of disrespectful to Tiana Taylor to not even just have a little clip of her, to not even just show her some of her best and brightest moments. And maybe this is a way for them to go, we're going to keep the show shorter and not let it run too long. But I also want to push back and go, the show was still 3 hours, right? It was a 3 hour long telecast. So it's like, was it worth it? Did it add that much value? Is it an extra 2 minutes overall with all these clips and scenes, or 5 minutes, however, that you couldn't just put it in and just made it that much better? So I thought that was interesting. Oscars usually always show clips. And so hopefully, again, the Oscars just take note. We need clips. We want clips to make that happen. Hamnet versus One Battle After Another. If you haven't heard of Hamnet, it is a story of how Hamlet became to be. The story of William Shakespeare, and just how the fruition of that play came into action. Hamnet won. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but it did win Best Drama, and then One Battle After Another won Best Comedy or Musical. So the Globes kind of split those categories, or there's kind of, it's kind of different than the Oscars. You've got a bunch of different more categories with the comedy and musical side of things. And just, obviously there's that television addition too in the Golden Globes. But Hamnet and One Battle After Another, a lot of people predicted Sinners would win Best Drama, which is fascinating. Which is very fascinating that they picked Sinners. But Hamnet comes out on top. Here's my thoughts. I won't get into it too much right now. but I think Sinners is in trouble. There's no love for it, and it's kind of unfortunate. The only love for it that it got last night, or at least one of the bigger loves it got for last night, wasn't televised. And so I think Sinners is in a really weird spot. I don't think the industry just cares about it as much, or I shouldn't say industry. The Academy cares about it as much as a lot of people do. I think there's a debate for another time that I think this movie and the notion of horror movies and how that works and how the Academy views certain things. I go, let's throw that at the door and let's go. If this movie is a solid product and if it meets what we would think to be a high quality film and a good representation of what we call the Academy, right? Let's be better about how we value and how we look at these movies. But we've seen in the past. We've seen in the past from anonymous Oscar ballots and stuff like that. Like, just sometimes the Academy just doesn't care about some of this stuff. And so even now, looking at the Golden Globes, it's interesting how Sinners was viewed. Again, we'll talk more about that later, but it's interesting to see how Sinners was viewed. And so right now, at least the race for Best Picture is between one battle after another, and I think definitely Hamnet. But I think one battle after another right now is just slugging away right now, and I think it has a really good shot to win Best Picture. Best Score not being televised, big no. Music is, and I think the Globes should hear that from the reactions that people are speaking about that not being televised. Music is a huge part of the product. A huge part of the product. It's a huge part why I've loved Sinners, right? It's a huge part why I love that movie. And you have to televise that award, because I feel like it feels like it's ignorant. As Hans Zimmer came out and said, it feels kind of ignorant to not to not come out and show this award being awarded. That's a big no. Again, along with the clips, it's like, what do you really lose with that extra added 2 to 3, 4 minutes, right? Televised score. If there's any award that should be televised, that should be one of the ones, right? So cool. All right, let's go down to the list of winners. Give my thoughts. I've been keeping my eye on award season. I haven't been as locked in as I have been in the past, but I've been keeping my eye on it. I didn't make any predictions for the Golden Globes. I'll be sure to make some predictions for the Oscars to where I think it's going to happen, what I think it's going to go, and obviously that is based on a lot of the rest of the award season. So for some people that don't understand it, a lot of what is being voted on, right? You can get a good sense of who will win and who won't win based off of what is getting awarded, and honestly, what is not being awarded, right? So throughout several months, we have these award shows, and you get the chance to see, okay, what do some people feel about this film, and what do they not feel about this film? Do they not like this film? Do they hate it? What is it? Or maybe they love it, right? And sometimes it does coincide, sometimes it doesn't coincide. It depends. Like BAFTAs and Oscars. Sometimes that doesn't coincide. You know, what the British film community thinks about a certain movie, it's not gonna be, might not be the same as the Academy. It can vary. It just depends. Sometimes it's spot on. Again, ebbs and flows. Let's get started. Best Supporting Actress, Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another. I'm happy for Tiana Taylor. One Battle After Another is a very, very, very good movie for me. I know I've talked to some people who don't like it. I think it's a solid win for her. I think it's going to be interesting to see. There's Emily Blunt in this category for The Smashing Machine. Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value. I just think Tiana Taylor and the way that One Battle is moving, I just highly doubt I could see anything else really winning. Amy Madigan for Weapons. There's a lot of push for that. I've seen a lot of movement for Amy Madigan, and a lot of people thought coming into tonight, there's some people that predicted Tiana. as I was listening to earlier today, there's some people that have been predicting Tiana. But, I mean, yeah, some people have predicting Tiana. Amy Madigan can give Tiana a run, just because the push and the love I've been seeing from Amy Madigan and Weapons. But I think Tiana, I think there's a good chance that she could win. Then again, like I said, this is going to be a toss-up. I think it's going to be definitely between Amy Madigan and Tiana Taylor. But that one battle after another, the fact that movie is moving the way it does, there's a good shot. I think Tiana can win. Now, again, if Amy Madigan had a won last night, I think I'm looking at this just a little bit differently. But Tiana Taylor, which flowers to Tiana Taylor, a successful music career. She's now doing a lot more movie stuff. She did, I forget the last movie she did, which she should have been nominated for some awards for that one. 1001, if you haven't heard of it, haven't seen it, check that movie out. Tiana's transitioning, doing a lot more acting. I think she's still doing music too, but she's doing a lot of acting right now, and I love that for her. I think she's a good actress, and she definitely has, I think, a promising future as an actress, and as a creative in the film world. Keep at it, Tiana. Keep at it. Best supporting actor, Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. Not super surprised, right? Well, I think a little bit because, again, the one battle after another, the push and the movement behind that movie. You've got Benicio del Toro in this category. You even got Sean Penn in this category as well as some people that could have came out with the win, but I think it does say a lot with Stellan Skarsgård winning. At least this body definitely values the movie Sentimental Value, no pun intended. So I think it's a solid one. I like Stellan Skarsgård. I haven't seen Sentimental Value, haven't seen that film, and again, award season, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you haven't heard of, which is kind of tricky sometimes for me as somebody who doesn't have that press access, who can't make it to a festival, etc., whatever. A movie like this, where it was near me, I just didn't have the time to go see it. It's just these movies are not always accessible, right? So this movie I'll have to go and rent and watch, which I've heard this movie is outstanding. Heard it's really, really good. So I'll definitely take a look at that. But Stellan Skarsgård, I think it's definitely between Stellan Skarsgård, Benicio, and Sean. I think it just depends on, we'll see what the Academy values, what the rest of these awards, these award pundits, what they value. It'll be interesting to see going forward what that looks like for Stellan Skarsgård. But I think it's a solid one. I think he's a veteran. He's a vet. He's a great. He's somewhat of an icon. He's been in some great roles. So, Stellan Skarsgård, that's a solid one. Sentimental Value. I probably would have went Benicio del Toro or Sean Penn if I voted. Also, there's Paul Mescal in this category for Hamnet. Adam Sandler is also in this category for Jay Kelly. Jay Kelly, I think, is also on Netflix if you haven't seen it. Jay Kelly is also one of those movies I thought I was going to be more of a factor this award season. I don't think it's doing anything. Moving on to Best Original Song. Best Original Song, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Low-key feels like a no-brainer because of the popularity and just the movement behind this song. If I was voting, I probably would have voted for I Lied to You from Sinners. Part of it being biased, but part of it being, if I had to vote, I would have voted for I Lied to You from Sinners. Dream As One, Miley Cyrus song from Fire and Ash. No Place Like Home from Wicked for Good. The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good. Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Note, it's an interesting note. You don't have to spend too long on this conversation. I said this last year about Wicked, that those original songs had to be good. They were swinging to go, okay, we didn't have any original songs this year for the first movie, so we're going to have it next year for Wicked for Good. And these original songs needed to really be really, really good to make any waves. I don't think they're not going to make any waves. I think Golden's going to carry this to the end. But again, if I had to choose, it would be I Lied to You should should win, in my opinion. But Golden, just because of the big push behind K-pop Demon Hunters, wins Best Original Song. Best Screenplay, Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, which is a shocker for many. Chloe Zhao and Maggie O'Farrell for Hamnet. Jafar Panahi, It Was Just an Accident. Pardon me if I misspelled your name or mispronounced your name. Ronald Bronstein and Josh Safdie for Marty Supreme. Eskil Vault and Joaquin Trier for Sentimental Value. And then Ryan Coogler for Sinners. Paul Thomas Anderson for the win. A lot of shocks. A lot of people going, whoa. We thought this was Coogler's, which if I was picking, I would vote for Coogler. I think Coogler's just a better product, writing wise. Again, a movie like It Was an Accident. It was just an accident. I don't think it's been showing around me, so I can't really speak to that movie. I've heard it was good. Again, can't speak to that. I liked Hamnet. Hamnet's script, very slow, very deep. Marty Supreme's script was fine. But Paul Thomas Anderson comes out with the win. Which again, the push for right now for One Battle After Another is huge. Right? It's huge. I just named Tiana and now Paul. We haven't even got to some of the other ones, but the push for this movie is there. And the way that people think about the movie, it's just clear as day. Paul Thomas Anderson for the win there. Winner, Best Actress in a Musical, in a Comedy or Musical. Winner, Rose Byrne. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I've heard a lot of good things about that film. Cynthia Erivo was in this category for Wicked for Good. Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue. Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another. Amanda Seyfried, The Testament. Anne Lee, Emma Stone, Begonia. I think it's really interesting that Begonia didn't get a lot of love this award season. Michael, what do you mean by that? Well, first off, it's Emma Stone. Second off, Yorgos Lanthimos, a pretty well-respected director who's released a couple films now in the past 2 years. Begonia last year, the year before that, Kinds of Kindness, and the year before that, Poor Things. Out of all those three films that kind of hit, Poor Things was the one that hit, which is interesting. I heard Begonia was good. Yorgos is an interesting director. Not my favorite filmmaker. He's very, the things that he makes is very interesting. I respect his craft. I just think most of his work is not for me, which is why I haven't gone and seen Begonia. I know it's streaming on Peacock, but I do think it's interesting that Begonia is getting rather like not even looked at this award season, which is fascinating. If I had to vote, I'd probably vote Chase Infinity for One Battle After Another. She's fantastic. I haven't seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, so I don't know how good Rose is, but good enough for the people to love her. Cynthia being a surprise in this category, mostly because I go Wicked for Good for me. I thought it was supposed to be, I thought her role in that movie was supposed to be better than the first one, and I didn't think it was better than the first one. I was actually pretty disappointed in her acting, not because it was bad. It was just what was given to her wasn't, for me, enough, which would be interesting to see if she even makes it in for Oscars. We'll find out in January 22nd. That's Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical. Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. This award has been very, very critical. If you're not listening into awards, on award spaces, if you're not on film Twitter, like if you're not in those spaces, you might have no idea what this award means and how people think of it. But this award has been very critical because people think this award is basically the kiss of death, right? And unfortunately, as much as I love this movie, I kind of agree with people, and I think that for Sinners, winning this award cinematic and box office achievement. It feels like a here you go, right? We hear the accolades, we hear how people are responding, but also we're gonna give you something, right? We gave you score, which we'll get to that eventually, but here we'll give you this award, which again most people have been critical of the award because it doesn't feel very. It feels very gimmicky. It feels like it's a way to try to get people to watch the shows, but it just feels like again, nobody really cares. Nobody really cares about that award, right? It feels like a very yeah. So Avatar, Fire and Ash, F1 the movie, K-pop Demon Hunters, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, Weapons, Wicked for Good, and Zootopia 2 were all in that category. Sinners was probably the biggest hit out of all of them. But still, it feels like a yucky award. Even though I am happy that Sinners was recognized. But in the scheme of it all, when you look at all the categories I'm going, ugh. That's the one that I care least about and care least about Sinners getting. And it doesn't feel like a pure representation, a pure, what's that word? Pure celebration for the film and what it is and how, in my opinion, how good it is. I know Ryan Coogler gave a good speech, but it sucks, right? It sucks. I wanted that award. I thought in March when it came out, last March. I was like, this should be very forefront award season. I have an idea why it's not. I won't get there eventually. Best actor in a comedy or musical. Timothy Chalamet, Marty Supreme, in a category that has George Clooney, J. Kelly, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Lee Young-hoon, No Other Choice, and then Jesse Plemons for Begonia. I think Timmy is leading the way right now for Best Actor. I think Timmy's the clear Best Actor candidate. The hype of Marty Supreme, the box office numbers, people going to see it, the marketing. Timmy is doing it. I think we have a star. We have a star here. I do want to see what Dune 3 does. I don't think if Dune 3 isn't like amazing, I won't put that on his record and go, well then that doesn't make him a star. But I do want to see how much of a banger he can make. How much of another banger he can make, especially considered Denis Villeneuve is returning for Dune 3. I'm curious. I want to see more on that. But Timothy Chalamet, I think he's a clear winner. Leonardo DiCaprio, I feel like hasn't gotten the buzz for this role. I feel like One Battle as a movie has gotten love, which could give Leo a shot. I think it can give Leo a chance. But I feel like One Battle is just winning everywhere else, and it's getting the love everywhere else. Where people are probably like, "Here, we'll give you this nomination, but then we're gonna vote Timothy." The hype is with Timothy right now. I think Timothy's going to possibly do it. We'll see at SAG. We'll see at the Screen Actor Guild. How do they look at Marty Supreme and even Sinners? We're gonna see how they view all these things in the future. But for right now, I think this is Timothy's to lose. Best Director, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. I'm telling you, One Battle After Another is killing it. They're killing it in a category that has Ryan Coogler, Guillermo del Toro for Frankenstein, Jafar Panahi for It Was an Accident. It was just an accident. Excuse me. Joaquin Trier, Sentimental Value, and Chloe Zhao, Hamnet. So yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson. I also think he will win this in March at the Oscars. But One Battle After Another, killing it. Best animated film. I wouldn't have been surprised if there was just that random for all the hype K-pop Demon Hunters have gotten. I wouldn't have been surprised if Zootopia came out of nowhere and snagged this. But K-pop Demon Hunters wins Best Animated Film. I mean, there's not much you can analyze on that as one of the biggest animated films of the year. Again, wouldn't have been surprised if Zootopia took the mantle, because Zootopia has been wildly popular and it's the best selling animated film of all time. So, best non-English language film, The Secret Agent. Don't have access to it. Don't know enough about it, but to know that people liked it. Sentimental values in this category, along with No Other Choice. A film called Sarat and the voice of Hind Rajab. Some of these films I've never heard of. Secret Agent, I've heard is good. It's a film, has a Brazilian cast, has a Brazilian person in it, which is, again, representation, which is really cool. And I won't spoil it, but we'll keep scrolling. There's more, just more wins for The Secret Agent down the line as we keep going. Best Actress in a Drama, Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, which is easy. I think Jessie Buckley is going to sweep. Notice this was the first one I was like, sweep. Jessie Buckley's going to she's going to take the world by the storm. She should win any other award in front of her. Jennifer Lawrence, Time I Love, is in this category. I'm trying to let me make sure I pronounce this name right. I heard a video on how to pronounce this name. Renat Reinsva. Renat Reinsva. I think I got it. That's right. Renat Reinsva. For sentimental value, Julia Roberts for After the Hunt, Tessa Thompson for Hedda, and Eva Victor for Sorry Baby. Jessie Buckley, fantastic in Hamnet. She's fantastic. She is fantastic in Hamnet, and I think she's just going to take everything in front of her, and I expect her to win the Oscar. I expect it. Best Actor in a Drama, Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. See, there it is, The Secret Agent. In a category with Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, Oscar Isaac, Frankenstein, Dwayne Johnson, The Smashing Machine, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, Jeremy Allen White, Springsteen. Jeremy Allen White, Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere. I haven't seen The Secret Agent, so I can't vouch for much on that. I can't speak much on it. I heard it's good and it's cool. This feels like a representation. This is definitely a representation win, a cool diversity win. It's just super duper cool. Again, not much I know on the movie. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't give too much on it. I do think Michael B. Jordan has been sorely overlooked for his role. People might go, there's nothing impressive. There's nothing impressive. I saw last year's Best Actress winner play a stripper and win. I think Michael B. Jordan is more worthy of winning for Best Actor in a Drama, considering he played two different parts and two different personalities. You might have not loved it, but you have to respect the craft, though. Respect the craft. So Michael B. Jordan getting overlooked kind of sucks. And it's just unfortunate. And it's something I felt for a while, that we were heading down this path for Sinners. The Smashing Machine, I'm surprised to not see Dwayne Johnson get a lot of love, even though I heard the movie was okay. But not enough buzz. I think it was cool that he took a swing to do a more serious piece. That's not usually Dwayne Johnson's memo. And so it was cool to see him do a movie like that. I hope he continues to do movies like this. I hope he just doesn't do, this is just a one-off. Like, no, keep doing that. Keep challenging yourself as an actor, bro. And not just rest in, like they're filming the Jumanji movie, another Jumanji movie right now. I'm like, don't just rest over there in the family-friendly movies. It's like, go challenge yourself as an actor on these serious roles. Best Comedy or Musical winner, One Battle After Another. In a category with Blue Moon, Begonia, Marty Supreme, No Other Choice. Nouvelle Vague, maybe? Nouvelle Vague, something like that. One battle, like I said. One battle's carrying the load, and it's going to go to distance. I think we got our Best Picture winner. Even with Best Drama, the winner is Hamnet. In a category with Frankenstein, it was just an accident. Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners. I think this is a good time for the Golden Globes to give Sinners some more love, and they didn't, and that's so confusing. And I have so much respect and love for Hamnet because of the story I was told. I love Chloe Zhao. I love what she does, but Sinners not getting its love right here just sucks. And it literally, in the same sense, sucks the life out of you. If you're a big fan of Sinners like me and you go, I don't know what's left. I don't know what's next for this film. I don't know how the rest of the award circuit's going to view this film. So we'll see. We got DGA, Directors Guild Awards. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of motion Coogler can get there, but I'm not predicting a lot of motion. We'll see. The SAG Awards, which is basically the Actor Awards, it's coming March 1st. WGA, Writer Guild Awards, March 8th. And then the Oscars, obviously, on March 15th. This is going to get really interesting. Some of it feels predictable. I was hoping that we could get some winners that people did not expect, and people go, I didn't see that coming, and it makes you go, okay, well, what's going to happen? I hate a predictable award season. I hate when people are dangling a certain person or film and going like, this is the winner, this is the winner, this is the winner. Like, I like one battle after another. I think it would be sick if Sinners came out of nowhere and won, or Hamnet. I think it would make it really, really interesting. I do think that these awards, even though they're in the world of Hollywood and even societal, like, I don't think a measure of how good an award or how much or how many awards a certain film gets should value or should represent how good a movie is. Let me make this clear. Sinners is going to be generational. Sinners is going to be generational. And there's just no way around it. There's no, Michael, that's your opinion. It's like, no, I fully believe, and I could put money on it. Sinners is going to be generational, right? Like, there's some of these films. There's every year we get into award season. There's a ton of films, right? And some of them get awarded. I give you one film. They got awarded, and I still stand by. I shouldn't have got Best Picture. 2011 Best Picture winner. Or was it 2011? Because it came out in 2011. 2012 Best Picture winner. The Artist. You probably never heard of it. Some of you, if you're a big movie guy and you're a big movie head like me, you probably know The Artist. You probably heard of it. Most people probably go, I've never heard of The Artist, which is my point. No offense. I remember watching it and go, oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie that was basically a modern take on a black and white silent film. I shouldn't say modern take because it took place in the 20s. But no offense to that film, and I respect the heck out of that film, and I respect any filmmaker and anybody that can make a film and get recognized. There's no impact with The Artist. There's no impact with this film, and that's not, Michael. That's your that's your opinion. Like, no. There is no impact on The Artist right now. Like, think about it. How many times have you heard somebody talk about, The Artist? You probably didn't. I remember I wanted. I don't really remember what I wanted. I think you could have went with the Descendants. You could have went with The Help. Moneyball. Like, I hear more people talk about Moneyball, and that's probably because this is Brad Pitt. There's Jonah Hill in there. And because it's about sports, I hear more people talk about Moneyball than I hear people talk about The Artist. Right? I hear more people talking about certain types of films. So again, I think we get so caught up, and a lot of people get on Twitter and get on social medias, and they get really rowdy about their specific film that they love winning. And I go, again, make no mistake, Sinners is going to have impact. I'm telling you, generational impact. I never seen a movie of that caliber with that originality be talked about as much as Sinners. It's been so long. It's been so long since we had an original film like that, and that people have rallied around, right? Now, some people didn't like it, and that is what it is. But Sinners is going to have impact, right? I'd even argue, I like Hamnet, I think it's going to have more impact than Hamnet, right? I'm not sure how much impact it will have over one battle after another. I still think it will. I'm not sure yet. I think one battle was more of a success than I thought it was. It had more pull, it had more traction. And I think even more if it wins Best Picture, they're gonna put this movie right back in theaters, which that could be a win because I would love to see this in IMAX if it shows in IMAX again. But Sinners is going to have longevity and it's going to have impact. No awards is going to change that. Now, I would say, good storyline. Sinners winning, the impact of Sinners winning it'd be incredible. I'd almost say, out of everything that I'm looking at, let's look at that drama list. Even the films in this drama list right now. Maybe it just was an accident is the only thing that I will give it because I think that's a foreign film and The Secret Agent as well. But Sinners winning, the impact, it'd be better than sentimental value. It would be bigger than Frankenstein, right? And no offense to sentimental value, I think that's the type of movie that gets lost. 10 years from now. Like nobody is like you'll have people talking about it in certain circles, but you're not going 20 years from now, 10 years from now. You're not going to be talking about Sinners. There will be people talking about Sinners. It will have a impact, right? So, award season is going to get really interesting as we continue to roll to just see if some of these things continue to do what they do. Like Jessie Buckley, she continues to just march and charge on home, or do we get anything a little crazy going on? We'll see. But overall, we're in the thick of awards season. I'm intrigued to see what happens. It does suck for Sinners. I would love to see Sinners come up big at SAG, to SAG Awards, and even something for DGA. That would be cool. Just to see. Maybe we're gonna get some motion, but we'll see. Probably not. And if not, again, what I say, we can't always measure the film based off of awards. Like, there's plenty of movies that don't win awards that have long-lasting impact. And I'd even take it a step further. A lot of the films that do win, again, depending on what film you are, a lot of them don't have that impact. I look at Anora from last year. Anora's not having that impact. I'm sorry. 10 years from now, we're not talking about Anora. No, but if we're talking about Anora, we're talking about how much of a doozy of a win that was. That's the only reason why we would talk about Anora. That's just me. That's just my thing. All right. That's it again for the Real Table podcast today. Primate is out. I think it's out. It's out now. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. I want to see it, but I also need to see the other movies before then. There's a new movie on Netflix with with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It's called the R.I.P. Basically, the rest in peace, I guess. It is about a group of Miami cops discover a stash of millions in cash, leading to distrust as outsiders learn about the seizure, making them question who to rely on. Interesting. That comes out January 16th on Netflix. And hey, what do you know? That has Tiana Taylor in it. So it should be really interesting to see if that's a good film. I'll probably check that out because it's got the big names attached. And I'm curious how good that film would be. Hopefully entertaining. Hopefully going to try to get to a theater soon. We'll see. We'll see if we can finagle something and make something happen. Other than that, thank you for tuning into the Real Table Podcast, talking about the Golden Globes award season. We are here. And that's all I got for today. So be safe out there. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're enjoying the deep dives and the conversation around film, be sure to share and follow the podcast. Once again, thanks for coming to the table, and we'll see you next time.